I've been making games on and off for the past 2 years. I should know better than anyone on how not to make a game. Let me take you back to where it all started. I was making games at the tail end of 2023, uploading devlogs to my YouTube channel. Old me had the idea of making an SCP dungeon crawler game. Honestly, I still like the ideas that I had for it. You would be able to choose from 3 classes, a scientist, a thaumaturgical researcher, and a D-class personnel. The player would slowly make their way through the SCP Foundation, trying to find keycards and friendly SCPs to help them escape. The goal was to find the elevator to descend down the next level. I'm not really sure how they would actually escape from the SCP Foundation, as I abandoned the game shortly after, and the reason was very stupid. I wanted the vibe of the game to be scary, and I wanted the lights to flicker on and off. You know, like in every other horror game ever. Due to being new to game development, old me got so frustrated with coding this flickering light that he said, "Fuck it, I'm scrapping the whole game." To take my mind off of game development, I played Roblox. And for some reason I thought, surely making a game in Roblox wouldn't be so hard. This is how I made my second game, Dungeons and Dudes. I think it's still up on Roblox, so you can play it if you want. If you haven't gathered already, I am fascinated with dungeon crawlers. I love exploration, I love finding secrets, and loot, and risking items to get better ones. I mean, this game could have been really good if I stayed consistent. Jumping from one game engine to another game engine was definitely a bad idea, as these 2 different game engines have 2 different programming languages. It was like learning French and then suddenly switching to Spanish. Although these 2 languages are very similar, to a beginner programmer, they are very different. Basically, I was abandoning GDQuest for Lua. I thought that by learning Lua, I would have an easier time making the game I wanted to make. Turns out, any coding language is very, very difficult to learn. So I decided to go back to Godot and continue with GDQuest. I became disheartened once again and shelved the project. I followed a lot of tutorials during this time. I made a Vampire Survivor clone, I also made a survival shooter, and an Asteroids clone. I can't tell you enough how much this helped me. But I was still dead set on making my dream dungeon crawler game. So much so, I made a dungeon generator. However, I was hitting a roadblock each time, and that was knowledge. I had all of the tools, resources, and time at my disposal, I just didn't have the know-how. At this point, I was beyond frustrated. All I wanted was to make my dream game. I came to the realization, in order to make my dream game, I needed to make a game I didn't want to make. This sounds counterintuitive, I know, but stay with me. There is a reason for this. I opened up Godot and made a new project. I didn't have a name for this game at this point, so I gave it the subtle title of Horror Game. Later, I would call it Tower of Lies. All I wanted to do for this project was make a horror platformer, add a few jump scares and working level transitions. I worked on this game for 3 months, and all I had to show for it was a world with blurred textures and free Kenny assets. If I was making my dream game, I would have fixated on making everything as perfect as possible and getting really frustrated when I couldn't make it so. But because this is a game that I didn't really want to make, it made me focus on the core principles of game design and programming. I released a video, How to Make a Game. The video was well received. I still agree with the advice I gave in that video. Many people want to start game development and make the same mistakes that I did. And eventually, they give up on their game and game development completely. Unfortunately, this is where a wrench was thrown into the spokes of my wheels. I released a video entitled Nukes. This video would gain a lot of attention, and 950 new subs. Basically, I was making internet historian inspired videos, and to capitalize on this newfound fame, I became a skeleton and focused solely on YouTube, leaving my game dev dreams behind. I completely stopped working on my game, and any games for that matter. Then, on the 3rd of November 2024, I would make my biggest mistake and greatest achievement. I published my game on Steam. During those 8 months, I was not adding anything to Tower of Lies. I wasn't programming. I felt trapped making the content that was performing well. To get out of this rut, I made the best and worst decision, publishing my game. This gave me the kick in the arse that I desperately needed to finish my game and make it worth playing. However, releasing an unfinished game on Steam was a massive mistake. Honestly, I wish I waited to release it when it was about 90% finished. Right now, it's probably only 30% finished, if that, maybe less. After 2 months of hard work and consistency, I can finally say the game is still not finished. But I have achieved far more than I would have ever thought I could. I think this year I can finish the game. No promises of when, but you can be 100% sure I'll get there in the end. I always do. Anyways, let me show you the new things I've added recently. I've added this giant spider enemy. This funky little guy blends into its environment, hiding under rocks. Debugging this enemy has been infinitely hilarious to me, but you'll be able to tell that there's a spider underneath a rock as their legs will be showing at the top right. Gold is now in the game. Killing enemies will now grant the player gold for them to use at the shop. Buying consumables, rings, and lore notes. Levels 1 through 3 have been given a much needed makeover. Just before I let you go, I'd like to say a special thank you to Fabia and Bambolina. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And thank you to all of my $1 Patreons. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Hey guys, it's Millie. Happy New Year. I hope you have an amazing 2025. I'm excited for this year. Sorry, I'm a little bit distracted. I'm nervous because I can't see. I know that Godot can't jump scare me because I've got the mask. I'm still a bit nervous. So I just want to say you're going to see me hopefully once a month this year. Hopefully. Anyway, I hope you all have an amazing time. I will see you in the next one.